Hi, I'm Scott and I'm here to talk about my mental health issues and my recovery. So I started to struggle with my mental health from a young age of 8. I got diagnosed with ADHD. I can remember going to primary school and I could never sit still in class. I was always getting put out. Teachers would always say I was badly behaved, but looking back I understand it was my mental health and I couldn't help it. I went on to high school and it was a really nice school. My friends who I went to primary school with were also going to the same school, which I was quite excited about. But yet again, when I attended the school, I felt like I was isolated and treated differently from everyone else. I was seen as bad, loud, can't sit at peace, disrupting other people. So I got put onto a part-time timetable, and rather than getting my full classes, I was put on like half a day and stuff, and the rest of the time I had to spend at the base. Looking back, I understand that I had my struggles, but I just felt like the school treated me different from everybody else. I felt like, well, why should I be isolated from everyone else? So people were suggesting that I would go to behavioural schools and different schools who had smaller pupils in it and have more to a one-to-one. But my family and me kept thinking, well, no, at the end of the day, I should be treated as a human and should be treated as it like everyone else. So eventually I left the high school and my mental health started getting bad. My anxiety and depression was getting worse, and I started drinking and smoking cannabis every day. I was attending GP appointments, and I can remember the GP telling me, there's nothing wrong with you, it's all in the head. And then a week later I would go to addictions and I'd go to psychiatry, psychology. Addictions would say you have to go to psychiatry, it's your mental health, and then I would go to a psychiatrist, they would say it was addictions. So I just felt like I was getting passed pillar to post and my mental health was getting really bad. Some days I'd been in my bed for 2 or 3 days, not washing, eating, looking after myself. Just felt like there was a big dark cloud above me. But unfortunately, it's took the last 10 years from primary school to high school to feeling like you've got nobody and no support, to then have to go and find self-help and charities and stuff like that, to then moving on in life. So moving forward, by the time I was 20, I was engaging with Hope Cafe in Lanark, which was set up around peer support, which was a mental health charity for people to come and walk in, not feel judged, just feel safe. They could have toasties, they could have soup, they could have cups of tea. And what I loved about it was that I finally found somewhere that I could go and talk about all my if I'm having a bad day, talk about having a good day, and I'll not feel judged. Everybody just treated me like an equal and treated me like I was important and like I was good enough. So whilst I was attending Hope Cafe, I got approached by someone from Scotland who asked me if I'd like to take part in a recovery video about facing stigma growing up in my younger years. And I thought this opportunity is going to be fantastic, so I took part, and me then promoted my story, and I used them as basically a stepping stone. So just now I'm volunteering for Esteem Clydesdale, which is a mental health charity based up in Lanark for people with mental health problems. I've been currently volunteering with them for the last few years, and I do peer support. So the reason why I wanted to be a peer support worker was that growing up with my own mental illness and listening to people share their recovery and their personal experiences, I just think it's a great idea and a great stepping stone to get to where I want to be. Something else I also got the opportunity to take part in was Walk a Mile. It was for 2 people to come together and walk and talk about mental health and recovery. So when I took part of the first Walk a Mile at Strathclyde Country Park, I got the chance to walk with Chris Young, who was the creator who created the Walk a Mile. So me and him walked together and we shared each other's recovery stories. And when I got home that night, he sent me a poem of how wonderful and how great it was to meet a young person who is sharing the word and getting the word out there, that nobody needs to suffer in silence, and that everybody has got issues and we're all here to help each other. So the way my life's changed for the better now is that the last few years I have been going to a lot of psychologist and psychiatrist appointments, and for me it's just about finding that balance where for the last 16 years of my life I was very up and down every day, and I was really in good and bad places. Also in the last year I've been travelling a lot. I travelled to Thailand, I've been to Amsterdam, I've been to Paris, I've been to Turkey, and for me going to other countries and stuff like that, it was good obviously to go on holiday and stuff, but I still had to manage my mental health day in and day out. In the last few years it's been hard for me to accept and not feel embarrassed and accept that I have got a mental health illness, but I can manage it day to day. And if I can manage it, then anybody else can manage it, because we're all here to help.